In 1881, the summer of 1881, in Michigan. At that time, Ellen G. White and her husband James, she was 56, he was 61, were living on a farm on the outskirts of Battle Creek. And Michigan in the summer is very hot and humid. And as a result of that humidity and the heat, there were a lot of problems with malaria. And James White came down with a very bad case of malaria. She tried to nurse him back to health with not too much success, but finally she herself fell to the chills. The neighbors had to call John Harvey Kellogg, the director of the Battle Creek Sanitarium, who came to the house and as soon as he saw them, ordered that they be placed on a horse-drawn hack and transported to the sand. At the sand, she regained a little bit of her energy and sat by her husband for several days as the nurses and the doctors cared for him. On a Sabbath afternoon in August, James White passed away. This devastated her. She had a lot of plans for the future of her life. And none of those plans had her husband dying. One of the plans was they had bought a cabin in the Rockies in Denver. And what she wanted was to take him away from Battle Creek because she thought that emotionally and politically Battle Creek was bad for her husband. She wanted to take him away and both of them would spend the rest of their life writing. They both liked to write magazine articles, books, pamphlets. And she believed that's what God wanted her to do. And she almost convinced James to do that, but he always kept putting it off. And finally, he died. This overwhelmed her. Some people even thought she would die within the next few days because she barely got up out of bed to go to the funeral and then had to come back to bed. But with the passage of time, she was able to restore her health. But emotionally, she wasn't totally there because her plans were that she would spend the rest of her life writing, but her editor was her husband. She was very insecure about her writing ability. And everything she wrote passed through the editorial eyes of her husband. He was older. When she was a teenager at 19, they married. He had been a teacher. So he understood grammar and understood the construction of sentences and paragraphs. And she felt that even though she had written several books by 1881, she was still very insecure. So it took her a long time for her to get back on her feet. And this story, how this farm girl with about 3 years of formal education went from a small farm in Maine to become the leader of a small religious movement that was founded in the 1860s and was not very healthy in the 1880s. How she took this movement fortified it, and spread it to all corners of the world. That is what I'm interested in, and I hope you will be interested in it too. Thank you.